option, the first A and B option, they are already knock off because they are not even related to the response. So the answer in this particular question now is C and D. That is, it will perform the services that the player asks for, and he can either decide to charge or not to charge. That is his own cup of tea. Now let's look at this question now. For some of us that have attended the EPP class, you remember this very well. Now, a 24-year-old player was transferred internationally from a club A to club B against payments that are due in 3 installments. The payment are to be made 1st January 2024, 1st January 2025, and 1st January 2026. Then the EPP of the player was duly generated, and as a result, and according to the determination of the EPP, this club C and D and E are entitled to solidarity contribution. Considering the above, which of the following statements are true? Now, let me further explain for the sake of those that does not really understand what the question is saying here. The question is saying that a player was transferred from one club to another, and there was an agreement between both clubs that the transfer fee, which was value for that player, let's say 10,000 euro, will be paid in 3 installments. The first one will be in January 2024, second one January 1st, 2025, third one January 2026. Though they didn't state if at all the installment will be equal, but it is stated that it will come 3 times. Now, which of the statements are true? Let's look at the statement one after the other. Number 1, it said, considering that the EPP is approved and notified to the parties on January 1st, 2024, Club B must pay all 3 installments and upload the respective proof of payment within 30 days of the date of approval of the EPP. Now, what is this trying to say now is that Club B should do contrary to the agreement he had with Club A. Automatically, this answer is wrong because they are already saying that all 3 installments will be due as at when they agree. So the first installment is due in 2024. So Club B can only pay the installment that is due in 2024. Automatically, the first option is wrong. Option 2, Club B must upload the proof of payment within 30 days of the date of payment, and consequently, an allocation statement for solidarity contribution will be generated after each declaration or proof of payment. Now, what this place is telling us now is the right one, because each payment will be made as at when I've already been agreed with the club. So Club B will upload proof of payment after he makes the first payment, maybe on the 30th or the 31st of January 2024. Then when he makes the second payment on the 30th of January or 31st January 2025, just like that as he's graduating. So what it means is that the same way the selling club, which is Club A, is getting paid their own installment, 5% will be set aside to be paid to Club C, D, and E. Now, automatically, B is correct. Now, let's look at the third option. It says no allocation statement will be generated if the new club does not declare the proof of payment for each installment. And this is true, meaning that the amount that is due to be received by this club, if this club do not say, I have paid this money, this is the allocation, this is the proof of payment, FIFA will not be able to generate the allocation statement through the clearinghouse. I think most of us know the process. At first, an EPP will be generated. Then he now move to the allocation statement. And what is the allocation statement? Allocation statement is state which club is entitled to any amount and also the club that will be making payment. I believe I've shown you people allocation statement here before. Let me see if I can see it so that we can have understanding. Okay. So this is an example of an allocation statement. This is an example of an allocation statement. Determination of the FIFA General Secretariat on allocation statement TC 111137. Okay, it will contain the EPP ID, to contain the player name, and also what trigger that payment. Okay, let me just go to, now look at it. The player moved from FC Gadubia to El Daklaya. Now, look at the allocation statement that is due. El Daklaya will pay $73,780.82. And FC Gadubia will receive, for the period they train the player, the first section is $4,006 and subtraction dollars. Then the second section, 5,000 subtraction. Third section, 30,000. Fourth section, 30,000. Fifth section, sixth section, 2,000. So FC Gadubia happened to be the only club that have trained the player from when he was age 14 before he moved to the Egyptian club. So that I just showed to you is an example of allocation statement. Okay. So the correct answer in this one now is B and C. Okay. Sorry, it's the way I got the question, so forgive me if you cannot see it very well. Okay. Now, it said during the EPP review process, I'm very sure you know what is EPP already, electronic player passport. During the EPP review process, what are some of the things that could happen? It says select one or more. A, the FIFA General Secretariat is not allowed to extend the duration of the EPP review. B, a member association may review or request the amendment to any registration information regarding the affiliated club, which is true. Then also, that one is correct. Then C, the new club must upload the relevant waivers. That is, for example, the former club, they issue waiver for training compensation, that they waive their right to training compensation. If a former club waive their right, they must send that document to the new club. So the new club will now have to upload it during the EPP review process. That this club have decided that they don't want training compensation. So please don't punish us for training compensation. So with that regard, the former club will not be entitled to any training compensation. So the correct answer here is B and C. Okay. I think this one is very easy and straightforward. Which of the following person may not be a football agent? Which of the following person may not be a football agent? As I told you before, a professional player or a professional coach cannot be an agent. An amateur coach cannot be an agent. So the only person qualified to be an agent here is an amateur player. So this question now, the options that are available as response is B, C, and D. A coach who is also active cannot be an agent. A professional player cannot be an agent and also be a professional player. An amateur coach, because it is assumed that they have undue advantage and influence on the players, they cannot be an agent also, because they are classified as officials in football. Okay. Jimmy enters a 1-year agreement with a football agent called Joe. Shortly afterward, Jimmy received a call from a foreign club called FC Stockton, who made Jimmy an offer to sign for them and become their first team striker. Because Jimmy was very happy with the offer, he instructed Joe to negotiate a contract for him with FC Stockholm. Following a few days of negotiation facilitated by Joe, Jimmy signs a 6-month contract with the club. In the last month of Jimmy's contract, the club chairman agreed a further 6 months, that is an extension to the contract that Jimmy negotiated that expired at the end of that month. And what happened is that the contract negotiation was done directly between the club and the player. Jimmy was very angry because he has a 1-year contract with this player. Why would this player go against their contract? Sorry, Joe. And Joe was angry because the player did not care about him, did not consult him before signing a new contract. Now the question is, what can Joe do? What can Joe do? Let me see. I can't see the option here. Just 1 minute. Let me see if the options are here. But the answer is Joe can do nothing. Charlie, some of all these your questions are not complete. So let me just go with my knowledge of it all. Okay. So in this question now, what can Joe do? If you see this kind of question that is saying that the player represented himself in negotiation, take note that Joe can do nothing. That is the answer. The answer is Joe can what? Do nothing. Let's go to number 14. Please, if you have question, pause me. I'm running fast because of our time. Okay. Member Association A does not have its electronic player registration system. That is not connected to maybe FIFA Connect and the rest. So it happened that one of their club has a player S, who was supposed to be registered with Club B. And as a result, because the member association did not have the right electronic registration system, they actually denied the club access to receiving training compensation because their name was not part of the, will I say, the EPP that was released by FIFA. The question is, what can happen to the member association? The answer is, number one, the member association can be fined. And two, the member association may pay equivalent of the training compensation that is due to their club under the association as a form of restitution. I think that one is here. Okay, yes. So the right answer here is A and D. A and D. The member association might be sanctioned by FIFA to pay the amount that is due to that club as training compensation. And not only that, they may also suffer some consequences of being sanctioned by FIFA because it's obvious they are not responsible to their duties. So that is it for for this particular question. If you have any question, please pause me. Myron. Number 20. It said player S is a rising star in women's football, and Club A wishes to engage her by offering her a professional status. Now, there was an agreement between Club A and player S that anytime she's leaving that particular club, a percentage of the transfer fee paid to Club A for official transfer, she will have some part of it. Now, the question is this practice allowed under FIFA law? I want you to answer it, because I know I've already explained something on third party. Any attempt? Please speak.
Let's
Anyone
see the
want to
final,
attempt?
the D. Let's see the D, the option D.
No, don't look at the option. Look at the question. Forget option.
It is acceptable.
Because why are you saying it's acceptable?
Because it's pertaining to that player herself.
So the player is not a what?
It's not a third party.
It's not a third party. Very good. That's what I wanted you to understand. So the answer here says yes, players are not considered a third party in the context of their own transfer, and they can participate in compensation payable in connection with the official transfer. Meaning that player can actually a transfer compensation. So they can, a player, maybe for example now, let's give an instance. A player who is very, very talented, maybe is approached by a club that come and join us, but you will have a pay cut. The player said, okay, me, I know my value is more than what you are giving to me now. So what will happen is that if I accept this pay cut, and because of my performance, I attract a transfer, I will be entitled to 50% of any transfer fee paid for me. Honestly, if the negotiation go their way, the player can actually take that money. Even though the player is joining the club as a free player. Hope is understood. So if it's not even, if there was no transfer fee paid for him from his previous club, he can still aim from the transfer fee that will be in the future. All right. Question, you pause me. I'm ready. Okay. Now, tribunal rendered a decision.
Boss,
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Based on that last question, is
Yes.
it basically the same thing as maybe a player indicating in their contract a seller for any sell-on fee percentage, regardless of what happens? So long they can put it in their contract and indicate that, okay, if I'm going to be sold 10%, 20% of any future sale and everything. I missed part of it. My internet was a bit shaky, but I wasn't sure whether that was what I heard. But I think that should be like the answer.
Yes, that is
If
the
you are
answer.
getting a future
Yes,
transfer,
yes.
you can indicate in your contract that, okay, 10%, 20%, 50%, anything that I'm sold for, I'm going to get that amount.
Exactly.
Okay, sir. Sorry if I
But that
got
particular
you.
amount, you cannot allocate it to another person. For example, the player
Okay.
cannot say that money should be paid to my father.
Okay, it has to be the
Player
player
cannot say
directly.
that money should be paid to my agent.
Okay.
The highest the
Okay.
player can do, he can say that money should be paid to one of my former club that have trained me before, maybe as a way of compensating them.
Okay.
So,
Thank
and
you, sir.
also the player cannot introduce another club he has not played for. For example, maybe, a lot of people want to introduce processes to circumvent all this rule. So maybe the player now, his agent, they are working hand in hand. They want to take part of this money. So what he does is that he told the agent to go and register a club. And this compensation now, he now want to now introduce a club he has never played for all throughout his career. In this instance, is already a third party, even though it's a football club. That is why there will be some questions you will see. Can a football club also be a third party? Yes. In some occasion, a football club can be a third party. A football club that have not trained a player or is not part of the transfer between Club A and Club B is a what? Is a third party.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, so let's go to the next question. It said tribunal rendered a decision by means of which it ordered Agent M to pay Club P the amount of $200,000 as compensation for breach of contract on the 7th of November 2023. To date, the amount has not been paid by the agent. And Club B now lodged a complaint before the disciplinary committee. Now, what are the possible consequences for the agent? Number one, the agent will be sanctioned with a fine of at least 15,000 Swiss francs. And also, it will be given a final deadline of 30 days to pay that amount. So, look at the first option. Now, why I will tell you is not correct is that he said his football agent license will be suspended until the amount is paid. No, suspension of license is not done like that. Okay? They will give him that opportunity to pay. It's when he refused to pay before they will not talk about banning him or any suspension, if at all. Those sanctions will be applied. So, but in this context of this question, the two implementable offense or sanctions to this relate to this offense is that he will be fined and also will be granted 30 days to pay the money or face the music. Okay. Let's go to this question now. It said player S. I think we have done it. Okay, we have done it.
Yes.
We have done this. This is one we just explain. Players can take okay. Okay, why did I go back? I think it's the same thing, sorry. All right. Now, there is a regulation in the FFARO. There is an article that says that if you have been found to be performing football agent services 24 months prior, that is 2 years before, okay, within the last 2 years, you will not be allowed to register or apply for the agent license. So, for example, now, somebody that have not been licensed by FIFA, especially some of you, that are doing football business, instead of you to bring it for me that have license to do for you, so that we can share the money. You want to do it yourself. If I introduce that deal to me, let me handle it because I'm the one that have license. If FIFA catches you that you do that deal and there is evidence, meaning that if you apply for this license within a period of the last 24 months and you have acted without license, your application will be denied. Now, let's go to this question and the context of this question. Now, he said, if a candidate is found to be performing football agent services on the 2nd of February 2024 without the required license, when can this candidate apply again to become a football agent? After 2 years. Okay? So see the option they gave, 1st January 2022, not correct. 3rd February 2025, not correct. That would be just 1 year. Okay? 3rd February 2025 will be 1 year from 3rd February 20. So It will not be correct. Then the next one is 12 February 2026. 12 February 2026. That will be what? The right time the prospective agent can become a football agent. He can apply for it. I know this one might be a little bit confusing. I don't know if there's any question so that we answer it together. Speak if you don't understand it. Oh. So it's well understood. Oh, my students, people are very good. So know that you may calculate it 2 years after before you can apply for next agent license. Charles, this your player S. You copied it many times, so let me be deleting it. Sorry.
This is not a question for one person. Maybe it might come.
Okay, maybe it appeared
in,
more than one time. Okay, okay.
to different persons. Yeah, that's why.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you. I understand now. I understand. It's okay. This question is not correct. Sorry, just forgive us. We just grab this question. These are real life questions that people attempted and failed. That's what we're using to train you. But very soon we'll be using your platform. So I see that there are fresh questions there almost every time. So we'll be using them, but let's just exhaust these ones. Okay. All right. Like the explanation I gave to you the last time. Look at this question now. It said, could a club be considered a third party? The answer here, the option say yes, always and without exception. B, no. Clubs are never considered third party. Remember, I told you that a club that is not involved in the transfer and have never trained the player automatically is a third party. So B is not also correct. Then C, it say yes, but only the two clubs transferring the player. This one self is not correct because the two clubs transferring the player automatically are not third party. Then see the correct answer now, which is D. It say yes, but not always. Okay? A club could be a third party, but not in all cases. Because as I've told you, the engaging and the releasing club and every club that have trained the player, they are not known as third party. So the right answer in this context is D. Yes, but not always. Okay. Now, Club B is involved in an allocation statement. You remember I told you allocation statement, it states how much a club will pay and how much the others will also aid. So after accepting the terms and conditions, and also the club have filed their information, a club might be requested to provide documentation and information about what? I think I've shared this with you before when we talk about FIFA clearing. Number one, the legal representative of the club, and also the club as a legal entity and its shareholders. So, clearinghouse will not ask you about the registration dates of the player because the registration day is already included in the EPP that have been released. The clearinghouse will not also ask you the passport of the player. All right. So the right answer here is B and C. Okay. Now, a bridge transfer generally comprises which of the following elements? A, there are sporting benefits for the transfer involving the player. B, from the onset, the intention is for the player to move from their first club to the final club without the bridge club obtaining any sporting benefit. C, A player transfer either nationally, internationally, permanently, or not within a short period. Okay. D, a player who does not play or very seldom play, that is, does not see JC at all, that are not the first or final club in their transfer history. Now, the answer here is B, C, and D, but I will explain. Now, remember I told you before that, in fact, I shared it with you also tonight, that a bridge transfer is a process of circumventing the rules so that the club that is engaging the player will not want to pay training compensation to the training clubs. So they use another club to cross the water. So it's just like for them to cross to the other side of the river, they need to what? They need to swim through the river. But because they don't want to pay compensation or they don't want to suffer swimming through the river, they will now look for another club to use as a bridge to use to cross the river. That is what is known as bridge transfer. With that one now, the sporting benefit that would have gotten to that other club will not come to them. So the answer here now is B, C, and D. And as I said before, bridge transfer is not only for international transfer, and it's not only for permanent. It's for both international, national, domestic, and international. Let me use that one. And also either permanent or loan. It is assumed, or may I use FIFA words? It is presumed that a bridge transfer have occurred unless the parties can prove otherwise that it is not a bridge transfer.
Boss, can you explain this D for us properly?
Okay, for example now, the player is going to Man U, and Man U have an affiliation with a club in Romania, which is a Category 4 club, but they can issue professional contracts. So the player now left Nigeria or Sierra Leone and go and join that Romania club, and he did not even play for them at all. Do you understand? He did not make anything because the Romanian club is not actually interested in the player. And after some few period within the 16 weeks window, he now moved to Man U. So a player who does not play or very seldom plays for the club that are not the first or final club in their transfer history. Do you understand? So this player
I
has
do.
just joined this particular club, is not playing, but they are preparing to see how they can move into what? To Man U. Okay. It said FIFA clearinghouse regulation. What does it entail? It laid down global and binding rules concerning the status of player, their eligibility to participate in organized football, and the transfer between clubs of different associations. This first A is the definition of ROSTP. Okay? This first A is the definition of what? ROSTP. So that is not what FIFA clearinghouse entails. Now let's go to B. It says FIFA clearinghouse apply to all transfer registration or player in which the trigger for the entitlement of training rewards occur as at of 16 November 2022. So for some of you that have access to my videos, you will see that the FIFA clearinghouse was actually launched in November. And also FIFA stated that there is an effective date of the transfer that will be recognized by the clearinghouse. And this B is straightforward, talking about that date. Let's see. It says FIFA clearinghouse do not apply for transfer of women players. This one is not even related. Okay. They say you should select one. The best answer here is B. Then D say FIFA clearinghouse regulations are in accordance with the FIFA status. In case of any inconsistency between the FIFA status and the regulation, the latter prevails to the extent of the inconsistency. This is not related at all. As you all know, training compensation and solidarity are not applicable to women football. So in case you see a question that a female player moved from one club to another, how much is the training compensation due? Please, in the option that will be available, there will